So we want to ensure that we do this justice by planning the early childhood spectrum for our communities, and let's do it right so that we hit all those things that we've been talking about. Capital infrastructure, immersion programming, because that's the best place to start, is in early childhood. But we also want to, without creating all these organizations, I hate it when we create organizations, but there's a need for at least a house for all our early childhood people, because we all know right now our school is education separated. Our daycares are part of Service Canada. Our Head Starts are Health Canada. They're all in different departments. And if we sit together and strategize and create at least an overarching element on early childhood, I think we'll go a long ways. So that's why I'm asking for support.
Thank you. Seconder, would you like to comment? No? Okay. Resolution is pretty straightforward. I guess that's it. We voted, right? No? Okay. We'll entertain question. Oh, one more comment. Microphone 30.
I just wanted to comment on this to follow up Chief Mitchell's comments regarding capital, I guess, in terms of having facilities. I know this money is meant for specific areas, and I guess if we're going to look at moving money this way in terms of a flow through, I think we need to look at maybe placing priorities out there as far as the money flowing through, but also for capital. I know when you see money sitting there at the ISK level and not being spent, obviously we do need to ensure that it is spent, and moving it through this way is good, but I think there's priorities that can be even further identified and needs identified in terms of narrowing it down of who should get in terms of this money being divided. I know that's something I just wanted to put forward, because in the past they used to have a group that would from ISK and also from AMC that would go through capital projects and determine, I guess, those priorities and needs within our community and identify who got what. But I think that's something that we need to consider in terms of these flow-throughs. I think it's more effective that way, that we should be determining that without ISK at the table, but we need to set up a table to determine those priorities and the allocation of dollars. So I just wanted to make that statement. It's easy to give everybody across the table an equal amount, but I think there are priorities out there, there are needs that could be more clearly identified.
Okay, thank you, Chief. We can follow up on the capital planning process and see where it's at and if it's still open. Okay, that is your resolution on the early child care. Question has been called. All in favor? Okay, consensus. Thank you very much. Next one, number 13, creation of an AMC FNIB Joint Chiefs Committee on Health. Therefore, moved by Donald McKay, the proxy for Cross Lake Band of Indians, seconded by Oral Johnson, proxy for Black River First Nation. Therefore be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly direct AMC Secretariat to work with FNIB to immediately create a joint AMC FNIB Committee on Health Funding Investment in Manitoba, and to recognize the AMC Chiefs Task Force on Health as official members of the committee. Therefore be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly direct the AMC Secretariat to draft the terms of reference and coordinate committee meetings. Finally, be it resolved that the Chiefs Committee, Joint Chiefs Committee, will review all existing FNIB advisory committees initiated by the regional, I'm not sure what that is, REO FNIB that may directly or indirectly conflict with the decision-making of the proposed joint AMC FNIB committee. Moved by proxy from Cross Lake. And Oral, do you wish to speak? Microphone 8.
Me? Okay.
Ina?
Over. Nina? Okay, thank you. I just want to make reference to the responsibility of the Manitoba Health, Provincial Health. I know with us that they have denied any responsibility to our health activities on the reserve, but they do have some responsibilities with regards to childbirthing, dialysis, medevacs, all those things. So how do we make a relationship reference in this with regards to this resolution that I moved? Okay, just a general question on that, and I don't know about the. I think we all know about the 1964 the health agreement and how it should relate to this. Just me and Marshall just kind of thought about this, and we're discussing it. If we're going to hold any responsibility to Manitoba Health with regards to those services.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. So there's another resolution coming around tripartite, which is where the provincial entities and government are going to participate with First Nations and the federal government. This particular resolution speaks specifically to a AMC and FNIB joint task or joint chiefs committee for chiefs to have oversight over the profiling of FNIB's resources. So that's not arbitrarily decided by the REO herself. So this particular resolution is speaking to chief oversight over the FNIB allocations.
Okay.
Microphone 5, proxy for Black River.
Councillor Johnson at Black River. I basically second the motion because we need to be a part of decision making, especially in health funding investment in Manitoba, and to further give recognition to our Chiefs Task Force on Health. So gladly second the motion.
Thank you. That's your motion. We'll entertain question. Question has been called. All in favor? We're having a vote on the resolution? Okay. All right. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, good. Thank you. Somebody's recording them anyway, eh? Mike, July 14, Resolution 14. And I believe that this is in response to the questions from the proxy from Cross Lake. Tripartite discussions on enabling health policy and legislation to support First Nations designed health systems. Therefore, be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly formally engage in a comprehensive tripartite initiative with both levels of government and First Nations. Wabung, our tomorrow's imagined, page 11, for proposed planning structure. Further, be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly approve the proposed shared vision, strategic directions and guiding principles, and direct the Chiefs Task Force on Health to articulate rules and responsibilities, selection criteria, and processes for each of the proposed tables and teams. Finally, be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly instruct immediate commencement of the work in accordance to the political unity on health accord with a formal launch planned for October 2019 with First Nation, provincial, and federal partners. Moved by Chief Glenn Hudson, seconded by Chief Francine Meaches. Are there any comments from the mover and seconder? Microphone 30.
The only comment I have is I obviously move the resolution.
Seconder?
Good. No comment.
No comment?
Yeah. I
Okay,
second.
the resolution is fairly straightforward, that we immediately engage in a tripartite initiative with the federal and provincial governments. Any further discussion? Microphone 9. Chief Modi.
Chief Modi, NCN. And I think this action needs to be taken immediately because, I mean, there's so many of our medications that are not covered by non-insured health benefits, and people are suffering, because they don't get the medication. And it doesn't make sense because when people don't get the medication that they need to treat their issue, it gets progressively worse and it costs the system a lot more money. And so it doesn't make sense from that perspective. And so I think that work needs to be done as quickly as possible. So I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you, Chief. Question? I believe that question was called. All in favor? Consensus? Is this the last one?
Nope, one more.
Okay, we're on the second last one. I promise. Forum to review federal legislation pertaining to First Nations. Therefore, be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly direct the AMC Secretariat to develop a proposal to submit to Indigenous Services Canada to coordinate and host a 2-day forum on federal legislations pertaining to First Nations for the purposes of a strategy going forward. Moved by Chief Vera Mitchell, seconded by Chief Francine Meaches. Mover, would you like to comment? Microphone 10.
Chief Mitchell, I think I explained it. We're asking for funds so we can discuss these. Like even something simple as you may seem simple, Bill S3. Chief from Waiwescapo commented that they are saying there's going to be an influx of band members into our communities in the next 2 years. And what are we going to do with them if we have no houses to provide for them and all that stuff? It's going to have a direct impact on our communities. So yes, all of these bills are going to have an impact in our communities, and how are we going to address moving forward? What is our strategy? That's what I want to request for us to sit and discuss all these things together with our experts that will prepare. And you need resources to do that. You know, lawyers and analysts to make sure that we're prepared for that discussion.
Thank you, mover. Seconder, microphone 7.
Francine Meaches, Chief of Swan Lake. Just to add to what she's saying, it seems like a lot of these bills that are being introduced to us, everybody seems to have an opinion about them. The way they define them, I guess it's different everywhere. So I like the idea of trying to strategize and review these bills so that we understand how they affect us, because all we ever hear about is bill this, bill that, and nobody's really paying attention, not realizing the effect that it's having on each community. So that's why I really support it, because it's something that's going to probably educate a lot of people and put everybody on the same page that we need to be on, because we're all looking at things differently and in our own view. So thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Again, the resolution is very straightforward. We need to come together, develop a strategy as to how we want to challenge or how we want to strategize going forward. We'll entertain question. Question's been called. All in favor? Consensus? Thank you very much.
The last one.
Giving her the look. I thought that was the last one. Provincial elections and party endorsement. We've had this discussion yesterday. Therefore, be it resolved that the Chiefs in Assembly join together in political unity and solidarity for the collective advancement of our First Nations people on issues of common interest, and publicly endorse the new Democratic Party in the upcoming provincial election in September 2019. We need a mover and a seconder. You've heard some of the discussion from Chief Dennis Meaches yesterday, and this is follow-up to that discussion. And no, it's not my place.
What do you recommend?
Well, let me share a story. Can I share a story? Okay. I've gotten direction. I want to share this story. This is with respect to the First Nation Governance Act. Chief. Okay. The First Nation Governance Act was a government from the Liberal government attempted to move this legislation to displace the leadership in the communities and to give you a prescriptive form of governance. And of course, the Conservative Party was in power and in opposition. And we went against the government. The Liberal government said, no, we want this legislation, we don't accept it. And we will fight you tooth and nail before we allow it to happen. And we managed to stop the federal government, the Liberals at that time. And in fact, there was an election called. We stormed Parliament in Ottawa. We went into the Senate chambers, and we actually laid down on the floors of the Senate chambers. If they were threatening to remove us, we said, no, we're not moving. As it turned out, we had a big rally outside the Parliament. There was literally thousands of First Nation people. It was very powerful. And we had speakers come out to address. And one of the speakers was Brian Pallister. He was a junior in Parliament. He was a backbencher, and he came out to speak, and he says, "My best friends are Indians. My father hired Indians in Port of Prairie. I grew up with Indians. I went to school with them. I played ball against them. I played hockey with them." And I beat them. That's what he said. My best friends. As soon as the Conservatives came into power, the first thing that Brian Pallister said, we have to make those chiefs accountable for the money that they spend. We have to disclose their salaries, how much they're getting paid. A complete turnaround. So that's the kind of premier you have here in Manitoba. He'll never be your friend, and he's going to be against you, against your rights, this treaty. He already said that in hunting. He's done that to fishing, and he's there to wipe out that treaty relationship. So we have to be careful. We have to remember that and learn from that. So that's my story. So anyway, moved by Chief Marcel Modi, seconded by Proxy Ferlin Barker. Mike 18. Mike 18.
Proxy for Hall of Honor. As a lone representative of this side of the table, I'll second the motion.
Okay, your motion is fairly straightforward. Question, we'll entertain question. Question is called. All in favor? Anyone against? Any abstentions? One abstention. Two? Okay. Thank you. That was your final resolution for today. And that means that we are done with our work for this time around, but we will certainly continue in the future. Any concluding comments, sir?
Oh, microphone number 9. I saw him first.
I just wanted to make a quick comment on health. I forgot to mention that, our health issues in our First Nation communities are so terrible, and it's not getting any better. And I forgot to mention that what are we doing about screening, for different type of cancers in our communities, and the wait times where people have to get surgeries, takes over a year sometimes for little things. Can you imagine, the wait time it takes for major operations? I think if we can improve our health issues, if there's proper screening for our people, because the tendency of our people is that when people get sick, they wait thinking it's going to fix itself, right? So we have to be really vigilant in terms of, I'm encouraging people to get screening done, especially at certain ages for certain things. And I think that's really important. I don't see any of that. I know there's been some screening done in our community for women for breast cancer and stuff like that. And it seems to, catch these things at an early age. And as you know, if you catch, early stages of cancer, the chances of survival is greater. So I just wanted to put it out there and see what can be done to improve those screening not only for women, but for men and our families.
Okay, Chief, noted. Our staff will look at that. Microphone number 7.
Just a quick comment about the resolutions that we passed here today, and resolutions from that we passed in the years back. Do we ever do any kind of a review or an assessment of these, or a status of some of these resolutions that have been passed?
Yeah, yes, Chief, we actually document, we have an itemized list of the resolutions and who's working on it and what we've done.
And what's going on with it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to get something like that? Because, I mean, you hear of all these resolutions, at each assembly, but that's where it stays, and sometimes we don't know what the status of some of those, like where things are sitting right now.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
If that's possible.
Yes, we'll do a report for the next assembly.
Okay, thank you.
Right, staff? Everybody's nodding over there, so I'm
Plus,
assuming
along with that, I'd like to ask that we add FINISM to do a report. I'd really like FINISM to actually do a report at one of the assemblies, just kind of explaining where they're at and what they're doing.
Okay.
If that's possible, invite them to provide that to the chiefs, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will do, Chief.
Thank
Was
you.
that noted, Natalie?
There it is, okay. I see it. That's too thick, I didn't want to look at that.
So, yeah, every year
Wow,
we provide an
okay,
update
thank
of
you.
the resolutions and stuff. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't even have my binder.
Okay.
Nice.
Jose? Okay, Chiefs, it's been a long couple days. I wanna give thanks. I wanna tell each and every one of you that I'm appreciative of the time that you take to come here and spend with us. We'll continue on the good work and the advocacy. I really appreciate those of you that have stayed here till the end. I would ask that amongst yourselves, chiefs, we had asked last time that we try and get our proxies to be available too. I completely appreciate all the demands that each and every one of you have in your personal lives and in your professional capacity, and I know that we have to be in so many places at once. But I do thank each and every one of you that have remained here to the end. The diehards, we appreciate your support and your confidence, and we'll continue to work on everything that you've directed us to work on. And I guess just in reflection of what we've been able to do, I know that we get so focused on what we're doing, but I can tell you objectively, that I'm very appreciative of what we've been able to achieve and what we've been able to do as the assembly, the amount of times that we've been able to meet, the amount of work and things that we've been able to achieve. We wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have the support of our chiefs, and I want to thank each and every one of you for that continued support, and I look forward to the next year of all the things that we're going to achieve, and I'm grateful for that support, and I'm grateful for that direction. And ego se pugo nagi ton ginanas komit now midugi kisto, travel home safely. Tell your family and your friends that we appreciate the time you come and spend with us, and that they're all in our hearts. And as well, in a good way, as we close off our assembly here, we did dedicate our assembly to our friends who had passed away. Elder Pratt, Elder Crochane, and our good friend Shirley Fontaine. I believe that our deliberations and our work, we continue to honor their lives, we continue to honor their legacy and the things that they've left for us here to do with their love and their care. So keep those people in your thoughts as we close our assembly. And I thank each and every one of you. And let's give a big round of applause to all of our staff here at the Assembly. Thank you to our staff. So we go say, thank you very much, Chiefs. Yeah.
We've talked to the elders this afternoon, and they've indicated to us that the pipe ceremony that was conducted is the communication to the Creator to support our gathering. And they've also indicated to me that the drum is one of the most sacred items as Indigenous peoples have. And the drum will guide us and carry us on our journey as we go home. That is the message that was left with the elder this afternoon. So with that, we'll have the march out of our Eagle staff, and we'll ask the chiefs to follow through. Thank you. Miigwech.
Way
Thank you very much. White Horse, there will be a staff debrief